Hey guys, so some of you may have noticed I really like bags. Over the past couple years, have been trying a lot of different sizes, brands, and have accumulated quite the collection. Now, what you guys might not know, unless you're shopping for one specifically, is they're often categorized by liters, as in the size. And to most of us, that doesn't make a whole lot of sense. So I wanted to make a video kind of showing you guys 5 different bags that I've used over the years, specifically what they can carry and what those liters technically translate to. So if you're looking for a bag, you can kind of gauge the size that would make the most sense for what you want to use it for. So I want to make this simple. I'm going to start smallest to largest, which, as you may guess, also means the least amount can be carried to the most amount. Now, size can be a good thing, but it can have some negatives if you're really loading that bag up and getting it super heavy. So don't necessarily think bigger is always better. It can be depending on what you need to carry, but understand that some of these bags will be more comfortable than others depending on how you load them out. Also wanted to let you know it will go from cheapest to most expensive, and I'm not going to bother going over specific prices because, as I learned personally, prices change often, and as this video ages, those prices will probably be irrelevant. So let's kick this off, guys. So the very first bag we're going to talk about, this is the Vertx Everyday Fanny. Now, I don't know anyone, or I can say I haven't seen anyone, wear this as a fanny pack. I see this all the time, especially out in public, mostly with women. This is actually my wife's. And yeah, this is often worn around the chest, easy access to the firearm, super compact, super lightweight. A great way to keep a minimalist style bag. I will say, for the guys out there looking to get your women into carrying, this is a great starter bag. It took my wife quite some time to find something that was comfortable, that wasn't bulky, and since I got her this bag last year, she's carried this ever since. She loves this bag. In fact, she was disappointed when I told her she had to take her old bag so that I could use this for this video. But this is very inexpensive, great material. She's had this for a year, and you can barely tell there's anywhere. She takes this thing everywhere. So what she carries is a P365X, nothing crazy. I do use a holster by Crossbreed in here, so it directly attaches to that Velcro hook and loop. And you got a couple other pouches. You got one in the back, one in the front, but you're not carrying a whole lot. Basically, think about this as a strap-on wallet that carries a gun and your bare essentials. It's not going to get you everything you would need, but if you want something super lightweight, something you can take to the gym, take anywhere, not feel cumbersome by the weight of a bag, this is a great way to go. And again, as I previously mentioned, this is an absolute great bag for women, or trying to get someone who's not used to carrying off body, comfortable with something that's not going to be bulky, heavy, and allows them to actually keep this close to them and not feel overwhelmed about having this big, huge bag, because you will see some of these bags do get quite large, but they also have some benefits. And I do want to mention, all the bags mentioned in this video, I do have a full review on, so if there's any one particular bag that you want to see me going through the pouches, or talk more about my thoughts and feelings specifically about that bag in depth, please feel free to check out those videos. Taking a small step forward from the 2-liter fanny pack, this is a 3.5 liter fanny pack. This is the Vertx Tactical Fanny Pack. Now this one, when comparing sizes, although it's only, a little bit larger liter-wise, I can fit a ton more. So going from just basically having a wallet on me and a gun, in here I can fit my P365X macro. I might be able to fit something a little bit larger, but I wouldn't go, I don't know if I would really go with my shadow. That might be too large in here, but definitely still in the compact range. I also carry extra mags. I can put a flashlight in here. I have a tourniquet in here, an extra battery for my flashlight, a pocket knife. I could even use this pouch up here. Before I throw my wallet in here, I could throw my keys in here. Basically, for me, this would be the bare essentials if I want something minimalist. I like having a little bit of extra stuff on me, but keep in mind it does get a little heavy. This is one of my bags I always keep ready. I kind of like having a few that just have everything I need. So depending on wherever I'm going, I'm not changing things out. I can just grab and go. And this bag is great if I'm going on like a short hike in the summer, just going out local by myself, don't really need a whole lot on me. This is definitely a great go-to. I will say I don't find myself using this as much as I have before getting the next bag that I mentioned. And when I explain that one, I think you'll kind of understand why. But again, this is great. Plenty of size. You can carry, I'd say, almost everything you would need, unless you really want to carry a larger firearm. That's kind of the only downside to this. And wearing this as a sling with this setup, it's not really as comfortable as the bags going forward. I'm definitely guilty of being the kind of person to overload my bags, so I try to keep them as comfortable as possible, but also usable as possible. I've learned in the past that if I really load out my bags, I end up not wanting to carry them because it's just, after too many hours out, it's extremely uncomfortable. So this is a great do-it-all if you want something more minimalist, but still want to be able to carry just about the bare essentials. Enough of what you would need. I'd say this is a good route, and it's definitely still in the cheaper realm and gives you plenty of function. All right, guys, we're gonna jump up to my next bag. This is a 9.4 liter bag, so liter-wise, much bigger, but when it gets down to how it carries and the overall shape, it's not much bigger, or at least it doesn't feel much bigger, because the way this Eberlestock Fade Sling wears is extremely comfortable. Plenty of padding on the back, on the strap, and basically in this bag, I can carry everything I mentioned in my tactical fanny pack, but I can also throw in a multi-tool, and I have another full compartment that I could actually load out even more stuff in here. I've been primarily using this bag ever since I got my CZ Shadow 2. It's probably the largest firearm I would use, at least the way I have the holster set up in here. Maybe you could go a little bit larger depending on how you orient that holster, but this is my personal favorite right now for a, I don't say minimalist, because it definitely has some stuff that I would not consider minimalist. You know, I don't think a multi-tool is needed all the time. I love having one. But being able to have everything I need in a still a lightweight package, it almost feels lighter holding it. I didn't weigh it out, but it feels lighter. I also think the material makes a big difference. But if you want something that is probably a good everyday bag, just going around town, going local, this size is perfect, at least for me. I've worn this for hours and hours on end, and it's super comfortable. And I definitely have a good amount of stuff. I always carry 2 extra mags with me, so it's definitely weighted down. But again, the way that the padded strap is and just the overall comfort of this, it doesn't feel like I'm wearing something super heavy like some of the other bags I have had in the past. So this right here, similar price to the fanny pack. This may be a little cheaper if you find it on sale, but definitely a great option for a everyday do-it-all kind of bag. Now, we're gonna get into the bigger bags next, and you'll understand that there's a little limitation as far as what you can carry in these when you see just how big the next bag is. All right, guys, this here is the Vertx Transit Sling, my tried and true. I think this is the bag I've used the most and longest, and I still love this bag. I carry my 226 in here mostly because I could carry basically anything, minus, you know, a rattler. I do get asked often, could you fit something that size in here? Unfortunately, no, but I do have a bag coming up that could fit that. So this basically would fit everything that I have in my Fade Sling. Plus I have a medical kit right here. And I mean, I still have plenty and plenty of space for storage. This thing expands out so much. I could pack this thing to the gills. I can throw a water bottle in here on the side. This is one of those bags, if I know I'm gonna be out for a while, or I'm going on a long drive, or doing a small trip somewhere, this is probably the bag that I'm gonna go with. Last month when I went up to Georgia, took the family camping, this was the bag I brought. It has everything I need, and I can add whatever else that I may pick up that day. If we're out shopping or we're just doing touristy stuff, and I just need to throw extra crap in here, I got plenty of space in the middle. I mean, I could really load this thing out. Granted, again, weight is definitely gonna be a factor for this guy, because the downside to slings is when they get heavy, you are relying on this one support versus a backpack that kind of evens out the load. So have I regretted overloading this? I have. There's definitely been days where I was out too long and I packed this thing to the gills, and I definitely felt it. It definitely was not enjoyable, but on those days where it's not loaded any more than this, it is a great, great bag. Now, this being 17 liters, you can see it is definitely substantially bigger. I mean, even this pocket here can come out and expand. This has so much potential, and the way this is set up and the way you can carry it gives a lot of options. So this is a great bag if you want something that can kind of do everything, and still, if you want to keep it more minimalist, it stays smaller, but you have the option of really loading it out should you need to. So far, this is probably one of the bags, besides my Fade Sling, that gets the most action on a daily basis. I really kind of go back and forth between the two of them, depending what I'm gonna do that day, how long I'm gonna be out, what I'm gonna need to carry, etc. But this right here, I mean, you can see it's not wearing at all. And I've been using and abusing this thing, hiking with it, doing everything you can imagine, and it's holding up tremendously. Now, I do want to say, because I'm sure there's going to be the guy in the comments below, obviously, the only downside to carrying off-body is a slower draw. So, don't get this confused with only carry off-body. Still, if you can and are able to and enjoy it, carry on-body, because this is always secondary. I just like giving you guys the option, because I know there's a lot of you out there, like myself, who have had injuries. Some days you can't carry, some days it's uncomfortable, but it's good to know that you have an option, then you still have a reasonably fast time drawing. And that will bring us to our next bag, which will be the biggest sling that I own, and can carry quite a few things. All right, guys, this is the Vertx Commuter. It looks exactly like the Transit, only bigger. Can carry all the same things, has all the same functions, expands all those good ways. The big difference, obviously being taller, is if you wanted to, you could carry something like a CZ Scorpion, a Rattler, any of those folding style firearms that you really want to put in a bag and have on you. This answers that question tremendously. Now, full disclaimer, I've learned this firsthand. If you throw a Rattler in here and have 4 fully loaded mags of 300 Blackout, that gets heavy if you throw everything else in this bag. So I would limit those trips where you're gonna have this on, because it will get cumbersome. Often I like using this as a, just going to the range. Something I just want to throw in the truck, keep a few extra things with me. If I'm going on a longer trip, maybe I'm going to be out of town for a few days, this would be great if I want to carry something on me that's got a little bit more firepower to it than just a handgun. So it definitely has advantages with that. The size comes in handy, but because it is a sling, obviously that can get heavy. Keep that in mind. I found myself not really using this as much as I thought, because again, I'm guilty of really loading these bags out. I like to have a lot of things on me. And for me, a sling gets a little too heavy when I load it out. Could you do it differently? Absolutely. I'm sure there's definitely a million different setups you could do where this bag is utilized still light enough to enjoy carrying it, and it will work great for that. But for me personally, that's where I start to transition into a backpack. That's where, if you guys have seen my Gamut backpack video, I know they have a few different sizes now. I believe mine is the 25 liter. I bought mine before there were different sizes, so I don't really recall the liter. It was not part of the name then. But that is typically the route I go if I know I'm gonna be carrying heavy stuff for a while. Having 2 padded straps makes a huge difference compared to 1 sling. But don't get me wrong, this still has a purpose. It's still a great sling. It still has plenty of usability. So it's definitely something I would recommend if you need something this size. And now I do want to do one honorable mention just to be fair. I couldn't do this video without mentioning the Vertx Ghost Sling. Now this is only the 10 liter, and it is a great size and has great organization for what it is. But there are some things about this bag that did not work for me personally, but I think that's just because my hand size, the size of gun that I chose to use. So I can't say this is a bad bag. I definitely like this bag. I was excited to get this bag. When I first opened it, I thought it had a lot of potential, but when I used it, I realized for me particularly, it does not work. And I wanted to be as honest as I could with you guys, and I put that in my full video. But I do think it's fair to mention it. It is a great size. It's lightweight. It could serve the right purpose for you, so I definitely wanted to at least bring it to your attention, because for the right user, this is going to be a great bag and can have a lot of potential in the way you set this up. Now next, I do want to mention there is one bag that Vertx just dropped. It's a sling, and I'm going to get it. Mostly because I think you guys deserve a good review of it, and I'm excited for it. It's been a little while since Vertx came out with a new sling. I think the last one I got was this one actually, which is probably about a year now, if I had to guess. And I think it's time for a new review on a Vertx product. So I'm gonna order that soon. So the new bag that Vertx just came out with, it's called the Gamut Sling 18 liter. Kind of gives away the size in the name, so it's gonna be a little bit bigger than the Transit Sling. But from the pictures I see, it has the organization that I love of the Gamut. So for me, I think that would check a lot of boxes. I really loved the way the Gamut was laid out and how you had all the different options of storing things in it. I'm a dork like that. I really like having my things neat, clean, and straight, and having them tucked away the way I want them. So if I was in complete darkness, I could easily get to whatever I needed. But gonna get that soon. I'm gonna do an unboxing video the second I get it and let you guys know what I think. Then I'll load it out and give you guys a full review after a couple weeks of actually testing it out. So I appreciate you guys checking out this video. I hope that my descriptions kind of gave you guys a better understanding of what the size of these bags translates to and what you can actually carry, and helps you make a better decision with your next purchase for how you're gonna carry, and helps you in the long run. The last thing I want to see you guys do is spend your hard-earned money on something that doesn't suit your purpose and only sets you back. So if this helped you guys out, please drop a comment below. And as always, if there's something I missed or you just want me to answer some questions about something, feel free, put it down below. I'll get back to you guys. But I appreciate you guys tuning in. Have a good one.